All right, weeks 1 and 2, post Patella Tendon Rupture. Let's get into it. Jokes. Just a quick disclaimer first. I am not a physio, I'm not a surgeon, I am not a doctor, but I am a guy who is taking an extremely active role in my rehabilitation process, and I derive a lot of joy from physical activity. I understand that everyone's circumstances are different, whether it's age, whether it's genetics, whether it is the severity of the injury, or whether it is the recovery protocol that is dictated by the surgeon post-injury. I don't believe it's useful to compare ourselves with others when it comes to the rehabilitation timeline here, because there are so many variables at play. However, I do believe that the general progression in terms of protecting the repair, getting back a little bit of ROM, starting to get that strength, starting to get strength through motion, etc., is quite similar across all injuries. With that said, let's get into it. This is me folded into the back of the car post-op. Me pretty much when I got home. Me just being grim-ass on the couch. Me being immensely value add in the operating theatre during my partner's birth with my leg getting in the way. Here's the gorgeous girl. You can see my busted leg in the background, and we'll just go through a couple of photos of the little cutie over the last few weeks. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, here's me, status quo, kind of before the injury, very active, pretty heavy. You can go back and kind of read through all that kind of stuff if you're interested. Here are my goals for the period. An important note: fear has been a really prevalent aspect of this rehabilitation process for me. I had some really great advice from my physio, and that is, don't force anything. If I feel pain or swelling or even fear about a specific exercise, I simply just regress to the previous exercise and smash out that volume until the confidence and the strength is there to attack that progression. Lastly, I just want to touch on mindset quickly. So I think, number one, listen to the professionals. They know what they're doing, regardless of how conservative you may think they're being. Listen, and if the exercises are too easy, just do more volume. Or even look at slowing down the reps, increasing the time under tension. There are plenty of ways to make exercises hard. Listen to your body and be patient. Your body needs rest in order to get those adaptations with the work that you're doing, and always safely test your limits. Dominate the variables that you can control, whether it's diet, whether it's rest, whether it's your anti-swelling protocol, whether it's just the rehab exercises that you're doing in general. Be relentless in progression. There are so many different aspects of this injury that you need to rebuild, whether it's the actual strength in the quad and the repair of the tendon, whether it's the mobility in that leg, whether it's the range of motion, whether it's the supporting muscles around, like the posterior chain or the hip flexors, etc. As I mentioned in the disclaimer, run your own race. There are so many variables making this injury different for every individual. If you are progressing and improving in your rehab, that is a success. So at the end of the 2 weeks, I got the bandage off. This is pretty much what the knee's looking like at the moment. Here's a quick overview of the exercises I was doing in the first 2 weeks. Obviously not much in week 1. But as you listen to your body, it will tell you whether you can do more, and you'll get really good feedback the next day. The exercise selection, obviously, in these first couple of weeks is not the most inspiring, but I really felt that religiously doing these multiple times a day, as pain and swelling allowed, really helped me progress. And at the stage that I am now, I think that overall it's really built a good base for me to start properly strengthening these areas. So obviously the goals, we're just trying to do something. It ain't much, but it's honest work. You really want to be feeling these contractions and kind of feeling the mind muscle connection a little bit here, because everything has shut down post surgery, at least for me. 2 exercises I didn't add here were obviously ankle pumps, hundreds and hundreds of these a day for circulation, and also quad sets, heaps and heaps of these just to try and get that quad firing again early. So we're looking at 3 measurements in the morning and the evening. The dotted lines are the same measurements in the evening. So we're looking at a passive, a seated active, and a prone active measurement. What we're trying to do is have the dotted lines essentially be on top of the solid lines, meaning the range of motion in the evening is equal to the morning. This will tell you if you're training the right amount or potentially overtraining. Your anti-swelling protocol is solid, and if you've got good circulation. I'm obviously failing so far. This is tracked here. So this is the average of the 3 movements in the evening divided by the movements in the morning. So you can see, I've only got 1 data point here, but we're like 55% of the ROM in the evening than the morning. So swelling not managed very well. General pain scores, weeks 1 and 2. Dog shit. A little bit of an improvement in the morning versus the evening, but rough as. Quick measurement check. Obviously a lot of atrophy and wasting away with the body I will expect over the coming weeks. So the body weight's dropped a kind of couple of kilos, and we've got an upper thigh measurement starting around 65.5 centimeters, and we're already down around probably 61, 62, and we're looking above the size percentage of my good quad. So this quad was actually used to be my dominant jumping leg, so it was actually bigger than my uninjured quad, and we can see I've already dipped below the size of the uninjured quad, so more to come there. Thank you very much for tuning in for this. We'll dig into it in the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. Cheers.